I've been involved with the Drummers Collective since 1977 when the school first opened. Believe it or not, I saw an ad in the New York Times about a drum school. It was just for students, it wasn't for teachers, but I decided to just come into town and check it out. And met the owner at the time, and he offered me a teaching position. And basically, it's been 25 years since then that I've been affiliated with the school. The Drummers Collective, to me, has always been about learning to play drums as a musician at the highest levels. It's in some ways less philosophical and much more about hands-on. As a faculty, we've always prided ourselves that we're doing it for real every day, and we're trying to pass on that knowledge, but we're trying to give real musical information, real musical knowledge, real fundamental concepts, so that our students can flourish and develop their own voice. My philosophy to teaching is you must know and understand the tradition, and you must find your voice, your sound, through learning the tradition, and then try to come up with something that is unique, something that is special. Without knowing where you're coming from, I don't think you really can establish a special force. You must know the fundamentals, but you have to have a vision of why you're trying to learn what you're trying to learn. It's not about rote learning, it's about having an idea of what you want to sound like. And then myself as a teacher, I'm not trying to make somebody sound like me or another teacher or another player. I'm trying to help them find their voice. And I think in the end, that's how you separate yourself from other drummers.
It's been a real privilege to work with an amazing group of musicians, students, and staff over the past 25 years. The collective energy and spirit of the school has been an ongoing pleasure for me. The accumulated wisdom, insight, compassion, dedication, and enthusiasm of all my colleagues, past and present, is mind-blowing. I admire their excellence, openness, desire to pass on their knowledge. But in the end, it's their friendship and camaraderie that I treasure most, and I'll always treasure. It's been my good fortune to be able to grow and develop my skills in an atmosphere of cooperation and learning. I want to thank all my students who have touched me in ways they will never know. I would also like to thank John, Paul, Rob, for keeping Rick Kravitz's vision alive. I want to thank the staff for being so helpful, many times under trying conditions, and I know I've contributed to those trying conditions. And of course, I want to thank my colleagues for being themselves. I couldn't wish for a greater faculty to be involved in. But of all the teachers who have shared their talent at the collective, Frankie Malabé will always have a special place in my heart and in our school. Frankie was my friend, colleague, and teacher. He was not only an inspiration to the collective and me, but to the drum community itself. Frankie set the highest standard for both our playing and teaching. He introduced us to a whole new world of musical expression. So what were those qualities that made Frankie so cherished and respected? And at the same time, we can ask, what makes a superior teacher and musician? Patience. Frankie had plenty of that. I can remember him working with beginning students, teaching them the fundamentals of the slap. But he was always engaged, always listening, evaluating, encouraging, and offering suggestions for improvement. Frankie knew how to get his students from point A to B. Demanding, but always positive in his comments. Frankie had a seriousness of purpose and a commitment to musical excellence. He loved to play and was always open to sharing with his students and us teachers his knowledge and love of music. Frankie was inclusive. He felt he should teach anyone who wanted to learn, and teach he did. Frankie always approached his teaching with the same integrity that he approached his playing congas. But it wasn't only congas that he taught us. He taught us about music and life. With his deep feel, rock-solid time, and beautiful sound, he wanted us to understand that those three elements were fundamental to every musician and should never be forgotten. A humble man, Frankie was a team player. It was more important for him to have the band groove than for him to be in the spotlight. Frankie also had wide open ears. He loved to listen to all kinds of music and play in different styles. And of course, Frankie was always interested and always very excited about showing us all kinds of rhythms to be orchestrated on the drum set. He was constantly coming into my room while I was teaching to show me his latest ideas and asking for a comment. Frankie Malabé was an innovator. He advanced the concept of authentic, traditional, folkloric Afro-Cuban rhythms on the drum set. A believer in fusing musical styles, Frankie always said, "You must know the rules to break the rules." Frankie Malabé was the front line of creating and teaching a new drum set vocabulary. He always encouraged us teachers to incorporate these authentic rhythms, be it the rhythms of the bata or kunga drum, into our set playing, and to pass it on to our students. But let's not forget that Frankie was instrumental in bringing the sango to America. This was his unique contribution. He made Drummers Collective extraordinary. And our school would not be what it is today without him having been there. It is to the memory and the enduring musical legacy of Frankie Malabé that I introduce the next group. I only wish he could be with us today to enjoy this celebration. Happy anniversary.